We are back with 91 days until the start of the 2024-25 college basketball season. And at the number 91 team in our top 100 countdown, we have the Bradley Braves. But before we get into that, it's a quick promo here. Make sure to follow Hoop Scoop Media on Instagram and Twitter at Hoop Scoop Media. Really helps you stay connected to everything we're posting. And also give us a subscribe and turn on our post notifications on YouTube, assuming you're watching us there. It's really helpful for everyone to stay notified about when all of our top 100 videos are dropping daily. So, yeah, subscribe, turn on post notifications, to stay notified of everything we do. Also, make sure to follow Luke on his social media accounts at College Hoops Outlet on Instagram and at CHO Talk Sports on Twitter. But yeah, you ready to get into number 91, Bradley?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and on my Zoom, his camera and voice are a little off, so I we'll see if it happens in the recording. It might be like just fine in the posting, so we'll see. But if that's messing with any of you guys, it's messing with me a little too. But we're gonna get this done. So yeah, Bradley, been a very consistently solid program the past few years of the Brian Wardle era. Really, all of the Wardle era has been very solid after coming in after being really good at Green Bay, has really brought Bradley up to relevance. They were 64th in Ken Palm last year, the highest Ken Palm finish for Wardle. He has not made tournament since 2019. Technically, did win the Missouri Valley Conference tournament in 2020 before COVID canceled, but has not made it since then, even with some pretty good teams. But to no fault of his own, as the Missouri Valley has been a very good conference, pumped out some really good teams. But yeah, this could be their year. Definitely, at least seemingly right now, it's less top heavy. I know I say that right now, but last year I didn't have Indiana State in my top 100, and then we all know how that turned out. But I think this could be their year. Obviously, we'll talk a lot more, but definitely seems like Bradley has a solid chance. Would you agree with that, Luke?
Yeah, I think in my eyes, there's three solidified teams in the Missouri Valley that I have above the rest, and I think it's very open between those three. I have Bradley third as of now, but a lot of experienced returners and a couple transfers that could play a big role.
Yes, very solid team, very solid coach. But they do lose some pretty significant pieces from last year. Malavai Leones, Missouri Valley Defensive Player of the Year, solid forward. Yeah, he exhausts his eligibility. Guard Connor Hickman hit the portal and is off to Cincinnati. Backup big man Kyle Thomas transferred to SIUE. And Marian Ellis, who actually left the team midseason. So this isn't new news that he's not with the team, but he committed to Nichols this offseason. So yeah, those are some significant losses, but I think Bradley, I mean, does really return a good chunk of production and really good they kept on some of these guys, especially Duke Dean. Um, Big time player to retain. First team all Missouri Valley player last year, so big guy to get back. Small guy in his height though. He's only 5'8". Not great defensively due to his frame, but can really fill it up offensively. Can really shoot the ball. Made 85 threes in the season at over 38%. Also was able to score from inside arc and was the team's leading assist man. So really can do it all offensively despite his high limitations.
Yeah, he's a pretty good ball scoring guard and passing pretty good vision. You mentioned 38% on over 80 made threes, and then he's back for a fifth year of college basketball. So just ultra experienced point guard is really going to help take this team pretty far.
Yes, big guy to get, big name to get back. Another starter returning from last year's Darius Hannah. Um, Big man, 4 or 5. Kind of him and Leones were kind of like the same position, like skill set, frame, where they're kind of like on the smaller end in terms of just like body, but they're both very athletic players, very mobile, very good defenders, and although Leones is gone, Hannah returns, and yeah, analytics look really great on him. Um, as a big analytics guy myself, very efficient from inside the arc, good rebounder, and his defensive numbers are really good. I think with Leon's no longer in a conference, I think Hannah right now should be the front runner for Missouri Valley Defensive Player of the Year. But yeah, just getting a big guy like him um, back. I know we mentioned so many times, but whenever you're able to retain bigs, considering what some of them are going at, the going rate is for bigs in the portal, that's a big thing to have.
Yeah, it's a big guy to have on the defensive end, and last year he kind of broke out for Bradley, doubled his averages in most categories, and yeah, he'll be a solid player in the paint for Bradley once again this year.
Yes. Another player that broke out last year, also returning, is Christian Davis. Solid returner on the wing, should provide some decent help off the bench. Not super great in any area, but still really nice piece to have. Pretty good defensively, and yeah, just another solid depth rotational piece to have back.
Yeah, plays his role really well. Good athlete, can rebound
Yes.
and defend at a good level, and yeah, I have him coming off the bench as well. Good
Yes.
support player.
Yes. Bradley also does have some rising sophomores that we should be excited about. Almar Atlason is definitely out of the two returning. I think he's the one I'm a little bit more excited about for year two. Really good shooter from the forward position. We talked about the Iceland U20 team about a week ago when we did a Washington State preview with Tomas Throsterson, I believe that was his name, incoming freshman of Washington State. Atlison also played in that U20 team and put up some big numbers for Iceland as he has the previous few international competitions for them. And yeah, he can definitely be a breakout, can really shoot the ball, started a lot down the stretch of the season. And I think he is a guy next to Hannah that could really definitely be in for a breakout this year.
Yeah, made 41 threes last year on 100 attempts. Started 19 games as you mentioned. Um, I think he could be a big breakout guy, kind of the stretch guy in that front court. But I also like Demarion Birch, the other sophomore.
Yes. Birch, other rising sophomore on the team, more of a guard, but less of a shooter. Not a player with great efficiency numbers last year, but still, the fact that he played a significant amount on a very good Bradley team as a freshman definitely shows a lot of potential for the future. I don't. Do you have him starting this year?
Yeah, I went with him starting at the two.
Okay, I think he might come off the bench. Definitely a few different ways you can take that, but I
Yeah,
think yeah, just some minutes that he played last year, I think were very encouraging for the future, and he definitely showed some flashes here and there. Um,
I
so
could
yeah,
definitely see it where he starts the season on the bench and then transitions to the starting role later on.
yeah, we will see. Bradley definitely has a few different rotations they can play around with, really all around the lineup. So we will see how that shapes out exactly. But yeah, I think he's going to get some solid minutes no matter if he starts or comes off the bench. Bradley has some reserve big men returning as well. I met Jonovic returns really big man, 7'1", 260 in fact, which is huge. Didn't see a ton of playing time, kind of was in spurts. Showed some flashes. Was a high usage player when he was on the court, but definitely a little bit of a contrast from Hannah, as Jonovic is just a huge guy and Hannah's more of an athletic four. I mean, they can honestly play together if need be. So yeah, Bradley does have a few different, honestly, a few a lot of things they can do at the five. But if you're looking for like the huge guy, I think that's where he can step in.
Yeah, at 7'1", it's definitely a big change from Hannah at 6'9", I believe, and yeah, definitely a role to play off the bench or um, playing valuable minutes.
Yes, they could also give some minutes to Connor Linky, who saw some minutes towards the end of the season. Didn't play that much all year, but was kind of playing ahead of Jonovic. late in the season. So yeah, that's another option there. If they want to go that route, anything on him.
Yeah, didn't really see time until the last 8 games of the season. Decent rebounder. I think he had 8 rebounds in a game, playing limited minutes.
Yes. So yeah, Wardle also hit the portal for a few gets, and I really like what he did with the portal to kind of get the connecting pieces. I think obviously he did have the luxury of bringing some really good players back, but it doesn't feel like Bradley was a team that was overwhelmed by portal gets, just getting a bunch of guys from the portal. But they did get some guys who really make next year team better without disrupting a ton. And they also the two guys they got from the portal, they also got a junior college transfer, but the two portal guys are actually very familiar with Bradley. All most fans should be familiar with them. One, there's the obvious Zeke Montgomery, who played his first 2 years at Bradley, was a pretty good player on some Bradley teams. The Bradley team's first 2 years before he spent last year at Rhode Island. Very athletic wing, very good defender, and yeah, just gives them a nice athletic wing defender, really, which is kind of what I said. But yeah, he also showed some promise scoring at the beginning of the season for Rhode Island. Did not continue that necessarily the whole season, but I think Bradley has a scoring covered with Dean, and yeah, I don't think they're going to need to be a big score, and I think he can just plug back into his role that he was really good in 2 years ago with them.
Yeah, I think he can be a 3rd or 4th option if needed. Didn't shoot the 3 ball that well last year, but good athlete, as you mentioned, good defender. I like that they brought him back to the program.
Yes, another name that some Bradley fans may definitely be familiar with, that is Connor Dillon, as he is from Peoria, where Bradley is located. Spent a few years at Winona State. I know you're kind of up in that area. Are you familiar with him at all?
Yeah, I can't say I watched him more than once, but I did my research on him, I guess. An elite scorer at the D2 level, averaged 22 points a game last year, first team all conference, and then yeah, as you mentioned, returns home to Peoria this year to play for Bradley.
Yes, big time scorer. Had two separate games of 40 or more points last year, so can really fill it up. Can really fill it up from deep, making 87 threes on the season at 39%. And as you said, average nearly 22 points per game. So yeah, I think he will start personally. Just his scoring, his shooting, I think will fit in well next to Dean. And Dylan also could facilitate a little bit. I believe he averaged about 3 assists per game at the D2 level. So it'll be interesting to see how he translates up, but he put up some big time numbers, good efficiency. I don't recall, do you remember how good Winona State was?
I think they were like middle of the pack in the
Yeah, I think they
conference.
were okay. So definitely not great, but not too bad. I think if I remember right, I think they've had some like other players go to D1 in recent years. Um
Um, they had Owen King transfer down. He played at South Dakota State first, and then him
no,
and him
I
and
yeah,
Dylan in 2023 were like the big pieces.
I think they had some like players go up to D1 now. I'm trying to think. I don't know if they. I'm trying to think of his. I think Western Illinois had a guy, and I might just be going off on a tangent here, but I'm pretty sure he played for Winona State. Alec Rossner. I think he played there. Yeah, I think they had another guy too. I don't.
I mean, they've been a pretty solid program for the last
Yeah, yeah, but
20 years or so.
Rossner was good to D1 level. Averaged over 13 points and shot the ball pretty well. So if Bradley gets that, think they'll be pretty happy. So yeah, their final pickup from the transfer ranks is a junior college big man Corey Thomas, 57th ranked junior college player per JUCO recruiting, average double double at Cowley. So definitely another option. Bradley has their pick of options, whatever they want to do at that backup big man position. Maybe I mean Hannah is more than capable of playing the four when they need him to as well. So yeah, just gives the Braves another thing they can do there.
Yeah, Thomas is pretty similar to Davis. From what I had, good rebounder, good defender, extremely athletic, and then he also can step out and hit the three if needed.
Yes, definitely another solid addition. And yeah, really love what Wardle did in the portal, just getting guys that really fit. Um, but yeah, the other thing he did was get a few high school recruits in, and neither are guys who I think are going to play a ton right away. One is Timothy Vandernap from Italy, I believe. He is from Italy because I did write down in my notes that he played for U20 Italy team this offseason. Did not put up huge numbers, but played a little bit there. Skilled forward. So yeah, I think definitely a good piece for the future. Another good piece from the future, Jaquan Johnson, a really quick point guard who can create for himself, can create for others. Maybe there's a little bit of a pathway there depending on how many minutes Dylan plays at the point guard position. Maybe he can get some small minutes behind Dean, but what are your thoughts
Yeah,
on the two incoming freshmen?
I like Johnson, pass first guard, but also a really efficient scorer, and I think he's 5'11", so small, just like Duke Dean, and I think a couple years down the line he'll be filling in Dean's shoes. I don't know how many minutes he'll see this year, like you mentioned, with a lot of experienced guys in the backcourt, but definitely somebody for the future.
Yes, both pickups, yeah. I again don't know what the minutes are going to look like this year for them. Not super familiar with them overall as prospects, as I'm not really familiar with most of the prospects in the high school class. Definitely need to do my research on them before the beginning of the season, but based on what I discovered, I think they're great long-term potential. For sure. We'll see if they stick around. No one really likes to with the portal, but if they do, I think Wardle can develop them into pretty solid players. But yeah, overall, looking at his Bradley roster, I think you mentioned at the start, but once again, I think it'll be very competitive team in the Missouri Valley.
Yeah, there's three teams: Northern Iowa, Drake, and Bradley that I have up there, and Bradley I think returns the most out of the three. Northern Iowa might be close, but obviously Drake lost a lot. We covered them last
Yes,
week.
they lost about everything, but yeah, Bradley does lose those pieces, but they really do bring back a solid core. Bring back Montgomery, who, although is a newcomer, is very experienced with the roster, with the team. So, yes, really a solid amount of continuity there. And yeah, Leon's Hickman, both significant losses, but like last year they lost Rinka Mast and honestly got a lot better. And that was definitely not to the fault of Mast, who was amazing at Nebraska. So, like,
Yeah, it seems like Wardle's kind of able to get those guys that had some experience, but not as many minutes as those guys that transfer out, and then kind of build them into their own good players. So that's why I'm high on Birch and Allison to have big
yes.
sophomore years.
Yes, yeah. Like I said, really like the transfer class fits in great with the players returning. And yeah, as you mentioned, I have them first, you have them third, but really we both have them in that same general range. Them Drake, yeah, you mentioned Northern Iowa. I think really the Missouri Valley is usually like really tightly contested. Like last year there were a lot of teams in that like 100 like to 150 range. So I think we could definitely be saying that again. So yeah, we'll see. I really liked this Bradley team the more I dug into them doing research for this video. So definitely a team I'm going to be watching. Definitely excited to see and interested to see how Dylan makes that jump up to the D1 level. Was really proficient scorer at a D2 level. Really interested to see Allison's progression, as well as Birch and yeah, really what they do at like the big man 4 or 5. Corey Thomas might be the guy there. That gets the most minutes out of him. and their other backup bigs returning. But yeah, really just a lot that I'm looking forward to about his team. So any more thoughts on Bradley before we wrap
Yeah,
this up?
you mentioned Thomas right at the end there. I think he has a chance to be a really solid guy coming out of JUCO. I liked what I saw from a couple of videos I watched.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that was number 91, the Bradley Braves. I've been first in the Missouri Valley. So yeah, make sure to comment thoughts in this video. And yeah, stay tuned. Number 90 will come out tomorrow.